Today we're learning more about the radical left and how they dehumanize the right and all that good stuff. As someone who, well, I don't even know where I'd be now at this point because I was on the left went way too far left, and now I'm not considered the left, I'm considered the alt-right, which is kind of interesting to me, but I mean, who knows? I think this would be interesting.
Horrible person. You deserve to be insulted and attacked. You are not deserving of a civil conversation.
So, Jesus.
This always confused me because I love debates. I love listening to debates online, whether that be from left-wing people or right-wing people, or simply when I watch left-wing commentators. And when I hear somebody say this, it always puzzled me. Why would you say this? You're a horrible, evil person. You don't deserve common respect or courtesy.
My thing is, I would say that these people don't want to engage in any type of discussion because they can't. So other than that, it just kind of doesn't make any sense as to why.
Courtesy, and I'm not going to entertain a conversation with you. You're not going to convince anybody when you're accusing them of something that they don't believe and that is obviously untrue, and you're just calling them evil, and you're attacking them, you're just insulting them. What do you hope to gain from this? And I thought about this for weeks on end. It bugged me to no end, but I figured it out. And unfortunately, I came to a very grim conclusion. You see, those statements, you're not worthy of respect or courtesy, we cannot have a civil conversation, none of that is designed to persuade you. It's designed to radicalize the people who already agree with him. If you had two commentators and they're discussing and they're talking things out, and one of them says that to the other, their goal is no longer to talk things out with you. Their goal is to simply radicalize.
Whatever happened to this guy? I forgot what happened to Hunter.
Polarize and isolate their own audience.
Go.
Stop
talking.
molding. I'm just trying to argue in good faith with you.
You're not arguing in good faith at all. You're over here insulting women, saying they're useless and weak, and then saying the difference of 5 pounds is gonna make it so a woman can't be in the fucking military. You're one of the most embarrassing, pathetic pieces of shit that I've ever encountered.
Why are you so mad?
Because you are pathetic.
It's to paint the other person as an evil human being that cannot be talked to or reasoned to. This video is designed for people who are right-wing. Title obviously says how the radical left dehumanizes people on the right. But for people who are left-wing who just so happen to click on this video, I'm going to try and give examples that you can also relate to and understand. If you had two people and one person said, I care about these kids who claim to be trans, but I don't think they're trans. I think that they're simply confused.
That's crazy. I just did a video about just in a video saying the exact same thing.
I think that they need to get some help. And the other side simply says, you want trans kids to die, you hate them because he said those things. He's not aiming to convince that person. That's not going to convince him. The right-wing person doesn't believe any of those claims that are being made against him. The sole purpose of those statements are to make it so that people no longer interact with or communicate with people who make those claims. It kills discourse because you can better isolate people and polarize people if they no longer communicate. And for my left-wing audience, let me give you a right-wing example so that you can relate to this. If you're talking to a person and you say you're pro-choice, you say, I'm in favor of women's rights, I want them to have access to women's healthcare, it protects women and it also gives them freedom. Imagine you said those things and the other person, instead of engaging with anything you said, they simply claim against you, actually, you're a Satanist. You simply want to sacrifice babies to Moloch or Satan. You're a Satanist right now. You hate life. You want to kill innocent babies. That's all you want at the end of the day. You just hate babies. How can you talk to or communicate with a person like that? People on the right, if they truly believe those things, how could they possibly ever have a rational conversation with you? They can't. You're an evil Satanist. We can't talk to you. And it basically has the exact same effect. It's intended to have that exact same effect, but for the other side. Especially considering you don't believe any of those things. I guarantee 99% of my audience who's pro-choice, they're probably not Satanists who want to sacrifice babies to Moloch. Okay?
True.
Can we agree on that? I think so. Yet I'm sure this is not the first time you've heard that talking point, right? That's what's happening in American politics today. And the exact purpose behind this is so that they can radicalize their own audience. That pushes them away from honest, open communication with the other side and pushes them towards taking action. We need revolutionaries. We don't need people who can think. And I've broken it down to what literally every radical leftist does. In our train of thought, we start off with Nazi. Nazis are bad because they killed innocent people. They killed quite a few if you know anything about history. And we don't talk to Nazis. Instead, we should make them feel uncomfortable. In fact, good people will do bad things to Nazis. We're supposed to punch Nazis. But you know what Nazis are also? They're fascists. Nazis are fascists. But what is fascism, you may ask? Well, we're not really going to specify that. We're going to leave it nice and vague because we're simply going to talk about what fascism means to me. And what fascism means to me is simply whatever I disagree with that infringes on my freedoms and rights. If you disagree with women's rights to abort children, you're a fascist. If you disagree with trans rights to mutilate themselves, you're a fascist. That's how their train of thought goes. And who exactly is fascist again? Literally everybody who voted for Trump. Half of the American population. That is fascist. But wait, if you're fascist, that means you're a Nazi. And if you're a Nazi, it's good if bad things happen to you. You see what I'm getting at? These are the mental gymnastics they go through in order to justify violence against you. These people literally have more sympathy for child murderers, abusers, and than people who vote right wing. And again,
which is insane, but it's been like that for a while, and it doesn't, well, it is changing. It's like slowly changing. And I feel like it's interesting because I was talking to a buddy of mine the other day, and the pendulum was swinging, and it's swinging back towards the right. And I wonder how far it's going to go. Because something's telling me it's going to go incredibly far. Because like, this isn't like we're going to bring it back. It's, at this point, we're taking it back. And now it's going to go so far right. And I feel like the exact same thing is going to happen within like 15 years. Where the left is going to come, grab it, and like swing it all the way back again. It's just, I feel like that's how it's going to happen. I wish it would just stay in the middle, but that's too wishful thinking, I suppose.
Again, I want to make it clear. I literally have nothing against people who are left-wing. I enjoy talking to them. I think they're fun people. We disagree on practically everything, but I still like them. I still can be friends with them. I don't have a problem with people who are left-wing. I want to clarify that. We are simply exploring the radical left, which is becoming much more prominent these days. Yet take note of this. They don't overtly condone violence. They don't. That would get them banned off of YouTube, or worse, they could possibly be imprisoned because that's illegal. And the left is not known for being brave, mind you. Instead, they like to play it safe. If somebody they disagree with dies, they don't condemn it, they don't care. In fact, they're gonna laugh at it. That's all they can do. That's as close to the edge they're willing to go.
Corey Comparator was a horrible person. Dying for your child does not mean that you love them or take good care of them. The Trump supporter that died was a lunatic. He was most likely a fascist, and I mean, he was at a Trump rally, man. What do you expect? Like, he probably wanted trans people to die.
When a Trump supporter dies, who cares? He probably was a fascist. In fact, let's laugh at him. Let's dance on his grave. After all, you shouldn't be made to feel safe. Hasan, for example, he overtly hates white Christians. He hates us so much that he flat out admits it would be better if they got rights than other groups.
Henry College is like doing one good thing, which is that like, if you have these millionaire, billionaire WASP fail sons, at least taking them out of other colleges so they can only do date.
That I didn't actually know that. I didn't know BOSS was an acronym for that. I was always kind of wondering what he was saying. Wow. That's crazy.
To other
actually, no, it's not. It's Hasan. It's completely on brand.
Billionaire, millionaire, failed daughters is like, in some respects, a little bit better.
So let's recap. It's not only better for us to be they also don't care when we die, and they also get pleasure out of it. They'll laugh on your grave because you deserve it. After all, you have an evil ideology, and there's no possible way that you could believe those things and not be evil, deserving of death. Do you still not believe me when I say those things? You're going to. Not only do they laugh when we die, but Hasan openly admits that people should landlords.
Well, my understanding is that the property owners who have properties there choose just not to rent it at all.
Yeah.
His mom's a landowner as well. She's a landlord as well.
Kill those motherfuckers in a video game. Sorry. Holy shit. Murder those motherfuckers in the street. Let the streets soak in their fucking red capitalist bloods, dude. Oh my god, in a video game, of course.
Because he's a communist. He's a crypto communist. But his
communist with a Gucci bag and get his product gigs and got her everywhere.
Hasan, he's not a man of principles. He doesn't care about morality, especially when it comes to telling the truth. Being honest is a disadvantage to these people. No, instead, he needs to spread the good, holy Marxist spirit. Even to Landlord's podcast, where he shares his beliefs, and he does not hesitate to lie to their face about what socialism is.
It is about equity instead of equality. That's what people misunderstand about socialism. It is not about equity instead of equality at all. We don't have material equality as a baseline in this country. We don't have that at all. I'm advocating for a baseline of material equality, and I'm advocating for better worker protections, better worker rights, and less alienation.
That's all a lie. That's a fucking lie. What he's talking about can happen in a capitalist system, and it is explicitly not what socialism is about. It's not about materially equal conditions. That's called welfare or redistribution, which capitalism can do, right? You're talking specifically about getting rid of or eliminating the profit, or at the very least, redirecting the profit to workers. You want to destroy private ownership because owners that don't work shouldn't be collecting money off of people that do. That's fundamentally what your belief is. And that's not even like this is what Marxists believe. This is what you believe. You said this on stream, mother. His idea of socialism is what Republicans called socialism in 2005. Socialism is when you pay your taxes.
Socialism is just when government does more stuff. Not at all when we execute you. Keep in mind, this guy's channel is literally dedicated to teaching people how to become landlords and to become millionaires. He actively teaches people to become the things Hasan hates and advocates for the death of those people. Yet he's perfectly fine sitting down having a cup of coffee with these people, as long as it means
it's because he's a bitch and doesn't stand for anything, because he's a liar. Surprise, surprise.
getting the good message out there. Because again, these aren't men of principles.
You call it selling out your principles. I call it fucking winning. And that's my principle, to win as a socialist, not to lose as a socialist. That's not my principle. I don't give a about.
Ooh, that's unfortunate because you're going to lose, and you have been for a while. You also want to, of course, or something like that. That's weird. You're weird. Allegedly, you're weird.
Principled failure. Principled failure is worth dog shit.
These people don't care about truth. They want power. They only care about winning, in their own words. And being a man of principles means you gotta tell the truth.
It's crazy, because wouldn't they be the best Nazis?
Least, right? But that only holds you back because these people, they're not honest with you about what they believe.
You have to advocate for a much lighter form of propaganda. You want America, in the way that I feel about it, and if you want America to get out of the way, or places with more revolutionary potential to do what they would normally do, I think that one thing you have to do is advocate for a lighter form, while simultaneously still doing agitated propaganda that goes beyond, social democratic idea.
That's what these leftists are taught to do. That's what they actively do. They don't reveal fully what they believe. No, we gotta water it down first. Make it easier for people to digest. We water down the information so that they can be set on the right path of radicalization, which should be really concerning for you, even if you're a centrist. Because if this is the watered down message where they think it's better for you to be and they don't care when you die, what do they really believe? I mean, this is what they're totally fine openly admitting and showing to people. They have no problem with this. This is not the most radical part of their message. It's not just, haha.
I know it's a side note, but the editing on this is so nice, and it makes me want to make more videos like this. I just never have time, which is really fucking annoying. But yeah, 100%.
It'd be funny if you die. It's they want you dead. They're actively working towards that goal. Look at what they're doing. They're proactively taking steps to make their own audiences not communicate with people who disagree with them. They're supposed to be rude, disrespectful, simply call you a Nazi and an evil person, and call it a day. We can't talk to these evil subhumans because at the end of the day, this is language designed to dehumanize you. You're no longer a person who simply has different views or opinions on what's best for the world. No, you just are evil and you hate people. No longer do you simply believe that, hey, I think abortion is murder. I value the life of a child. No, it's you hate women. That's what these people unironically believe. If you think that...
Honestly, altogether, this just sounds like strawmanning. It's like, yeah, so this is what I think, and then they're going to say something that you don't think, or anything remotely close to what you think, and then attack you as if that was your position, which is crazy because it's not. And unfortunately, there are people that are fucking retarded that believe that, yeah, he said that. And it's like, nowhere will you ever find someone saying that. Because that's not at all what we believe.
That transition
and I'm not even on the right.
You want trans kids to die. If you're against welfare and you think that's wasteful spending, and there are better ways to help the homeless, no, you just hate the homeless and you want them to suffer. That is what these radical leftists unironically believe about the right. Verbatim. It's because they're not even just left-wing. Because a left-wing person, maybe they have the ability to interact and talk to people on the right. Hey, they understand that we don't agree, but we both want what's best for the world. Not a radical leftist, though. No, they don't talk to you because their own audience decides decided to isolate you from them. They want them to hate you, because if they hate you, it's going to be a lot easier to lead a revolution where they execute you. They make it a point to sympathize and empathize with criminals, rapists, murderers more than you. Which side is in favor of the death penalty? Not the left. They think that murderers, they're simply disturbed or unwell human beings. No, people who actually murder, they're not evil. We gotta help them. We must advocate for rehabilitation for these people. Unless you say the N-word. No, if you say the N-word, you're actually just a horrible, evil person, and there's no possible reason for it other than you're just evil. For the we gotta extend sympathy and empathy. For the racist, none is given. No, when it comes to Shiloh, because she said the N-word, they justify doing horrible, evil things to her.
Not gonna lie, this was crazy. This was actually insane. Yeah, shouldn't have been stealing. I feel like they're both wrong, but one's significantly more wrong than the other. Probably shouldn't have been stealing from somebody, because that's fucking terrible. Like, why would you do that? And then calling someone the N-word, but like, which one is worse? As a black guy, I'm not gonna lie, would much rather be called the N-word than have people steal shit from me. But just an opinion.
If you say the N-word, it is good to dox you, to steal your social security number, to swat you, to harass you, to try and ruin your life, to try and get you fired from your job so that you can't feed your children, because she's racist. Just like all white people are racist, according to them. Because remember, being killed is a good thing in these people's eyes. That's what they believe. If there was a situation where a woman, she was being murdered by a man, and that woman just so happened to call him the N-word right before she died, people would say she deserved it. In fact, people would be happy it happened to her. That's how these people's moral compasses operate. Look at these videos. Keep in mind, she literally just said the N-word, and this is what they have to say for her.
My mama would have went to that house, knocked on her door, dragged her by that skinny little blonde ponytail, and turned her every which way but loose. And then she'd be like, go get my bail money. I feel like it is time for us to start turning the other cheek. And I mean their cheek, not our cheek, okay? I think it's time for us to start showing them who the fuck we are.
And the fact that you did that when that little boy's parents were not around, they were not present, what kind of person are you behind closed doors? Like, I'm fearful of your children, and I hope that they get removed from your care.
That lady, Shiloh Hendricks, whatever the name is, people like her, they deserve a bullet. They really do.
Jeez, that's crazy.
Way I would have rearranged that bitch's face if I was in front of her. But I hope and pray that they find your location. And I hope they dog walk your stupid ass. And when you good and going, I hope somebody finds your grave and piss on that shit.
Again, these people think that if you say one word, you deserve to be raped and murdered. When it happens to you, they will be happy and gleeful. They hate you. And look, this is negative information, really negative topic for this video. But I'm only saying this because I truly believe that this is the case. I'm never this strong or stern with what I say. And the only reason why I'm saying it right now is it's because it's the truth, and you need to hear this. These people are trying to polarize their audiences so that they hate you more, and they're more willing to do evil things against you. Because again, when they call you an evil monster that doesn't deserve courtesy or respect, it's not to change your mind, it's to isolate their own audience and to radicalize their own side. Which is really ironic if you think about it. This is the side of quote-unquote democracy. But the reason why they want to isolate their own audience and to radicalize them is because they are genuinely fearful that if they heard the other side, they would be convinced and leave them.
Like canceling these people or preventing them from showing up and pushing their message when most people don't have the ability to like push back, I think that does more good than it does harm. Nobody knows how to handle that.
Yeah, but
and I wish they did.
Then we should do that,
but
right?
I feel like that's very idealized.
But yeah, but that's what we're at college. It's a place for ideals, right? Don't you all have dreams? And you guys aren't old enough to have your hopes and dreams crushed yet. You should still be idealistic, right?
It used to be the opposite. I used to feel like, oh yeah, we should have every idea, bad or good, on the marketplace, and then people should debate it. And bad ideas will fall to the bottom, good ideas will come to the top. But instead, we had like 4 years of like half the population of America
and that's
parroting what Trump said on Twitter.
If their own audience could think for themselves, if their own audience was genuinely exposed to the other side, they wouldn't be a radical leftist. They fear this. They don't trust honest discourse. If you could actually have an honest conversation with a Nazi, as they say it, they genuinely fear you would become one of them.
And it's crazy because a lot of people have this idea that if you talk to people like that, you will become that, which is insane because not only do they not know anybody like that because they refuse to talk to them, they don't know any of their actual ideas because they're only fed lies. And then when you hear their ideas, you realize that, well, yeah, they're not nearly as terrible as you think they are. So it's literally what that dude was saying. The free marketplace of ideas is a good thing. And when you can debate ideas, the good ones come to the top and the bad ones stay at the bottom. That's just how that is. So telling people that no, that we're just not doing that anymore, only my or our ideas are good ideas. I mean, eventually you're gonna have people thinking that, you know, maybe we shouldn't be doing this because you're starting to sound more ridiculous and more wild and more radical. And that's when more people get pushed out of it or to the other side, as they say. And that's another reason why a lot of people, in my opinion, a lot of people are now quote unquote the right, when it's really, we're just not as left as you because you kicked us out because we don't agree with you because you went way too far left. It's a whole circle.
Very funny. They're not in favor of having a democracy that is actually informed on what the other side thinks. No. We must have a democracy that is controlled with isolated followers who are radicalized and only know to hate the people that they disagree with. Democracy where you only know one thing. Democracy where you can't hear the other side out. Democracy where you only know to hate. I mean, look at the Ethan Klein situation. Ethan Klein is your standard lefty. He engages in all of the left-wing talking points, but he only disagrees slightly with the Israel and Palestine situation. He doesn't even deny 90% of their talking points when it comes to Palestine, yet they still hate them. They hate him so much that they literally called child protective services on him. The same guy that says that Steven Crowder is a right-wing extremist. That's how left-wing he is, yet they still hate his guts. They hate him and his family. They want the worst for him. If his family got raped and murdered, they would be happy. And they make that clear with their words and their actions. And if they want to do that with Ethan Klein, who's practically identical to them, what does that say about you if you're even a centrist? In most revolutions and purges, even the people who are the strongest advocates of that movement tend to fall to the guillotine themselves.
Which is hilarious because back in the day during the French Revolution, there was a person named Robespierre, and that's exactly what happened to him. He got so high and so mighty during the revolution and cutting people's heads off, they eventually cut his head off. Insane.
Because after all, if anybody disagrees with them, they're fascist. And fascists are evil Nazis. And we don't respect or show common courtesy to Nazis. We don't even talk to them. Which means not only will they remain silent when violence happens against you. No. They're going to enjoy it. That's what they're looking forward to. So at this point, if they call you a sexist, homophobe, racist, whatever, who cares? They're going to anyways. They don't want to engage in logic and reason because they're afraid of it. That's why they isolate their followers. That's why they're polarizing people. They're fearful of real conversations. Yet I want to make this clear. The point of this video is not to make you feel the exact same way towards them. Don't fall into the exact same trap. This video is not created with the purpose to isolate people, to polarize them, to kill conversations. No, I think those things are really important. And we need to call this out for what it is. That's what you need to do. Call out what they're doing. They're radicalizing their own audiences, and this is how they're doing it. You need to understand this. I don't think there's anything wrong with seeking or gaining political power. That's what we should do, but I don't think you should do it through dishonest means. There's absolutely nothing wrong with voting in the laws and principles that you hold into this country, especially as a Christian. They hate you, and they view you as this cartoonish villain. Don't fall down that same path yourself. Do what is right. And that is it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. And if
I was about to say, give him a follow. I'm going to put the link to this in the description. I've watched a couple of his videos before. I just haven't reacted to one. I just thought this one would be perfect because it was kind of just like right where it needed to be. And then also, we're going to have to take a look at this one right here at some point. I'll do that at some point. Other than that, y'all have a good one.